What's up, y'all? Wenny here, and welcome back to the SCP Foundation Wiki. Today we're going to be checking out Extra Dimensional Albatross, the Tyrant's Pretext, Tunnel Slide, Property Markers, and Post-Tibanic? Alright, so let's check out that there Albatross. Is it actually going to be an Albatross or going to be... It's Euclid, so probably... As living specimens of SCP-1560 currently cannot be contained by any means available to the Foundation, Mobile Task Force Lambda-4 Birdwatchers is currently tasked with tracking known populations of 1560. These specimens are stored in standard cryogenic biological storage units at site someplace, and personnel may gain access to said specimens with prior permission from at least 2 Level 3 senior researchers. Alrighty then. Description: SCP-1560 is a species of animal of presumed extra-dimensional origin resembling the Thalassacer melanophrys, or the black-browed albatross, with the notable exception of its unusually large eyes, size, and a complete lack of legs or feet. Adult 1560 can grow to wingspans of over 3.8 meters, approximately 3 times that of actual albatrosses, and appear to have lifespans exceeding that of the duration under which the Foundation has had 1560 under observation, approximately something double-digit years. The eyes differ greatly from that of terrestrial avians, as they have compound eyes that have been determined via testing to be extraordinarily sensitive to ultraviolet light. 1560 populations exist in small familial groups at an altitude of no less than 8,100 meters above sea level, of which the Foundation is currently tracking. It was 6 and then 8 and now 15 known families. Behavior is similar to that of a terrestrial marine avian, with the exception that it does not land and only drops below an altitude of 8,100 meters to feed, at which point specimens completely disappear for a period of 5 to 10 minutes. Long-range photography and extensive study of the behavior of 1560 suggests that hunting specimens displace into an extra-dimensional space inhabited by a species of large cephalopod, which form the primary diet of 1560. The specimens often bear wounds or scars similar to those seen on sperm whales that hunt deep-sea giant squid. To date, the Foundation has not been able to capture a live specimen for study. When injured or trapped, the specimens will spontaneously extra-dimensionally displace, regardless of current altitude. Attempts to tranquilize specimens have ended in the same result, and in most cases, tranquilized specimens have not returned and are presumed deceased. As 1560 appear to be minimally intelligent and have begun to develop an aversion to Foundation observation craft, further attempts to capture 1560 specimens have been indefinitely suspended. And then there's an addendum, a log of significant individuals. 1. The largest and oldest known specimen, SCP-1561, or -1, appears to be a highly intelligent male with a wingspan of 3.86 meters. It was an adult at time of documentation and is still alive after double-digit years of observation, thus making it the current baseline of maximum lifespan for 1560. 1 led a flock of 8 specimens, of which 1 disappeared and has not been seen since the Foundation's attempt to capture it. 1 is mildly aggressive and will chase all Foundation aircraft that approach within 500 meters of its flock. Number 8 is a mature female specimen. 8 was observed at some point to disappear for a period of approximately 18 minutes, after which it appeared with 3 apparently newborn specimens, designated 29, 30, and 31. 21 reappeared badly wounded from a hunting dive at some point. It managed to stay airborne in a state of extreme distress for approximately 1 hour before succumbing to its injuries and falling out of the sky, after which it was retrieved by MTF Lambda-4 members. The remains are cryogenically frozen in its site somewhere, as well as its stomach contents and the fragments of barbed tentacle that were embedded in its. And then there was 28, which says data expunged, wreckage of Rock 19er retrieved from crash site with no complications, no survivors. Addendum 2, Observer Note. To date, SCP-1560 have only ever been observed cruising in an east to west direction, regardless of prevailing winds or hemisphere. The significance of this discovery is under investigation. Then there's another observer note which says, while we have been extraordinarily lucky so far, the nominal cruising altitude of 1560 combined with their large size and increasing numbers means that it's only a matter of time before we have an incident with a civilian aircraft involved. Until such time that a permanent containment procedure can be developed, we may have to consider culling the numbers by exterminating one or more of their flocks. Well, that seems kind of messed up. But I guess if, like, they displace whenever they try to capture them, that's still kind of messed up, though. I'm sure y'all probably have an SCP that's a bird that can tell them what's going on. And be like, hey, be careful, you know. Because these planes, they'll hurt you. Alright, next up is the Tyrant's Pretext. What the heck? His Majesty's crown in all its magnificent glory. Kingly item number, His Majesty's SCP 1561. Royal object class, glorious. Regal containment decree. His Majesty's SCP-1561 is currently being worn by King Data the Expunged within the Kingdom of Sight Redacted, and is to be guarded by at least 10 knights at all times. It used to say, as His Majesty's SCP-1560 possesses a memetic hazard, all information regarding the Royal Crown is limited to level 4 aristocrats and above. Testing His Majesty's crown is henceforth forbidden. This was the law of the Heretic Council before the days of the Data the Redacted. See Royal Decree 1561-1. His Majesty's SCP-1561 is a glorious golden crown, wrought by the finest smith and crafted with the most expensive jewels in the land. The object sorcery is caused when His Majesty's crown is spoken, worn, or inscribed about. When bestowed upon the unworthy head of a common male peasant, commoners who are within viewing distance shall see the unworthy wearer as the highest authority they hath ever met. These subjects are born anew when the king is crowned, and thusly take upon themselves new roles befitting of their previous stature. Guards become knights, scientists become royal scholars, and other commoners become peasants. Peasants under his rule shalt also feel the rightly obligation to fashion a robe out of the finest material at hand, sometimes using their own filthy garments for the new righteous king to wear. The newly crowned king also develops a magnificent sense of ruling, which empowers him to build a royal army of knights and establish his kingdom. The unworthy wearer shall also grow a glorious beard and mustache to befit his position. These effects wither away when the royal crown is willingly removed or when the unworthy subject dies. Men who have not directly witnessed the greatness of the royal crown can resist its resoluteness and ought to be branded heretics, branded from the land, or banished from the land, or otherwise executed at His Majesty's pleasure. Inscriptions and any speech that regard His Majesty's SCP-1561 also alter to befit the king's ascended status. Mere knowledge of His Majesty's SCP-1561 shall cause a compulsion to refer to the royal crown justly as His Majesty's SCP-1561. It is also worthy to note that indirect reference to His Majesty's SCP-1561 negates these effects. Council Decree 1561-1. During frivolous testing upon His Majesty's crown, an unworthy D-commoner placed His Majesty's SCP-1561 upon his head, and subsequently ruled the Kingdom of Sight Redacted for 3 months, before he was beheaded during the Great Revelation. So it was upon that day that the Great Council of O5 decreed that nary a frivolous test shall be undertaken, lest another misfortune fall upon us. Royal Decree 1561-1. As of last winter, on the day of first snow, a new king was crowned. All hail His Majesty King Data the Expunged! He who fights the shameful council of profligates, ruler of the Kingdom of Sight Redacted, long live the king! Note, this isn't the official SCP report, but it's the best we can do at this point. All research data regarding His Majesty's SCP-1561 was deleted during Incident 2, and this was provided with Document 2. Until Incident 2 is resolved, this will have to suffice. Alright, Level 4 Authorization. Incident 1. At some point in 2000-something, His Majesty's SCP-1561 was discovered missing from the containment. Security tapes in the area from 1500 to 1900, which I believe is 3 p.m. to 6 p.m.? 7 p.m. Okay. Were found to be erased. When the guards assigned to the shifts in the area were questioned, they became violent and attempted to harm several personnel. All but one subject could be subdued without use of lethal force, but he committed suicide immediately after he was interviewed. See Interview 1. These personnel were assumed under the influence of His Majesty's SCP-1561. Effective immediately, Site Redacted is under lockdown until the crown is recovered. Update: this issue has been resolved and Site Redacted has resumed operations. Note: who authorized this? 05 someone. Interview 1. Interviewed: Sergeant White. Interviewer: Private somebody else White. Forward: the following interview took place after Incident 1561-1. Sergeant Blank White was captured. He refused to speak to any personnel and struggled against his restraints until his brother, Private Blank White, was brought in an attempt to divulge information regarding His Majesty's SCP-1561. Hey, it's me. Stop doing that. You're going to hurt yourself. Yeah, come on, bro. Snap out of it. You don't know what a relief it is to speak to you, brother. I thought they would have killed you. Who would have killed me? You're not making any sense. The heretics. They're everywhere. The king was right. The king is always right. What heretics? What king? Snap out of it. Do you know where His Majesty's SCP-1561 is? Where else, brother? Upon the head of the true king. I myself have witnessed its resolute glory. Soon, the whole of this wretched sight shall witness its glory as well. You shall see his glory too, and you too shall believe. What do you mean? Where is the royal crown? Who's the true king? You shall soon enough know the glory of King Data the Expunged. Come on. You don't believe all that crap. His Majesty's SCP-1561 is controlling you. Just tell me where the royal crown is and we can... Pity. What? See that I won't be here to see the fall of the Heretic Council. Looking directly at the security camera. Es tempus nunc et peregrinis incipit vivax rex. End log. Sergeant became unresponsive to further questioning from his brother, who subsequently left. Security footage shows that the sergeant managed to free himself from his restraints and ram his head against the wall several times, causing a fatal concussion. Translation of the phrases spoken at the end produced the lines, "The time is now, the crusade has begun, long live the king." The exact purpose of these lines is unknown at this time. Okay, the following was faxed to Dr. Blank at Site 19. Site redacted is compromised. All personnel are under the influence of the Crown. Send help. I'm locked inside central control. Not a lot of time was able to put the site into lockdown from here. Skips are safe for now. Unintelligible and planned to use against the 05 Lord person of the boiler room. King Data expunged down there for months. Crown mirrors and video is outside. I can see through them. I will destroy the console after I send. Hurry! Incident 2. Based on the information given in document 1561-1, site redacted has been compromised. Most, if not all, of the personnel of the site are under the influence of His Majesty's SCP-1651, which is being used by an unknown person to aid in an insurgency against the 05 Council. Mobile Task Force Eta-10, aka See No Evil, was sent in to recover the crown, but they were unsuccessful and lost most of their members, who are currently being psychologically evaluated. Efforts are to be focused on containing Site Redacted and prevention of the Crown influence from spreading. Any personnel coming out of Site Redacted are to be tranquilized and treated with Class C amnestics. If you'll further notice, personnel are not to approach, attempt to communicate with anyone within, or look directly at the site as it poses a mimetic hazard. Or poses, not proposes. Update. At some point, 2000-something, 5 months after the site was deemed compromised, Document 2 was found tied to a rabbit, along with SCP Blank and an SCP report regarding the Crown. 2 is a proposed treaty between the 05 Council and the supposed Kingdom of Site Redacted, written by the King himself. The presence of SCP Blank and the textual evidence seem to indicate that several SCP containments have been breached. The document was sent to Overseer Headquarters for verification. Document 2. Greetings, Council. I do hope this letter reaches you in good health, and that you bear no ill will towards my kingdom or its people. I understand that you may harbor resentment towards me, but I find that of little consequence. I beseech you to not try to think of me as a tyrant, but as an ally in the fight against the greater enemy, our shared enemy. What I'm proposing is a treaty between our factions. My kingdom of Site Redacted will continue in its original capacity, and I will agree to receive orders from the Council, and in exchange you cease all attempts to invade my kingdom or harm its people. The details can be drawn at a later date, but these terms will be the foundation of our mutual partnership. As a symbol of my goodwill, I have fastened to this creature, SCP Blank, along with a document written by one of my scribes detailing the attributes of my most royal crown. Mind you, not all the reports we produce will be written in this manner. It is just an effect my regalia has on my subjects. I shall send a draft of our treaty next winter on the first full moon. Please do not try to fool me. I still have many objects of sorcery, and there aren't many a man who would gladly die for me, within and without the kingdom. Most glorious King Data, the expunged ruler of the kingdom of Site Redacted. Okay, well, this doesn't seem to lead to any other SCPs and was last edited in 2021, so I don't think this one's going anywhere else from here. But it was certainly fascinating. Next up is the tunnel slide. Is it going to be as whimsical as it sounds, or is it going to be terrifying? It's it claims to be safe, and it claims to have a couple of audio logs. All right, so SCP-1562 is currently quarantined in testing lab 46V in Site 24. The door to the lab is to remain locked at all times. As testing is currently suspended, all access is denied unless special clearance is granted by Dr. Carver. Description: SCP-1562 is a metal playground slide measuring 2.2 meters high and 3.4 meters long. It was acquired from an abandoned playground on the outskirts of somewhere after several children went missing. The anomalous effects only manifest when a person slides down head first on their stomach with their arms tucked down at their sides. Any other orientation of the body or limbs while sliding results in no effect, and only human beings are affected. When a person slides down 1562 in the aforementioned manner, they will disappear instantly and completely at approximately 15 centimeters before the end of the slide. So far, no one who has disappeared while using it this way has been recovered. Attempts to tie safety lines to the test subjects in an effort to pull them back have ended in failure, as the tether is severed at the moment the test subject disappears. Communication with test subjects that have disappeared is possible and ongoing, and detailed in the logs below. See log number 1. D-2445 was given a two-way radio earpiece to communicate with researchers observing the test. Communication began immediately after they disappeared. D-2445, can you hear me? Yes, Doctor, I can hear you. Where are you now? I don't know. Some sort of very small tunnel? It's really cramped. Can you get me out now? Can you describe it to me? No, it's too dark. I can't see anything, and I'm stuck. Stuck how? I'm still head first on my stomach and my body's at an angle, but I'm in some sort of small tunnel and I'm stuck. I'm completely surrounded by rock or dirt on all sides. I don't have enough room to raise my head or move my arms, and I can't move forward. I really want to get out of here now. I'm going to try. See anything? Anything at all? No, I told you I can't see anything. I'm getting kind of freaked out now. I'm not really claustrophobic, but it's pretty fucking uncomfortable. Pull me out of here. Unfortunately, your safety line was severed when you disappeared, so we can't pull you out. We'll try to figure out another way to retrieve you. For now, just stay calm and keep talking to me. No. You need to get me out now. I can't handle much more of this. Please stay calm. We'll have you out of there as soon as we can. Okay, I was able to worm my way forward a little bit, but my head hit something. What did you hit? It's a shoe, I think. It's small. Jesus. What's wrong? Get me out of here, doctor. Get me out of here now. Calm down. We'll get you out of there as soon as we can. No. You need to get me out of here right now. The shoe, so tiny. Communication was suspended while with D-2445 while researchers discussed possible methods of retrieval. Consensus was reached to send out another D-class attached to a tether with additional video and audio recording equipment, a GPS tracker, and a headlamp. Communication was re-established with 2445 to inform him of the plan. Are you still there, D-2445? Please. Please, I don't want to be in here anymore. We're going to send someone in to pull you out. It started talking. What started talking? The little boy did, but it didn't make any sense. Tell me what he said. He just kept asking where he was, and I told him I don't know. I didn't know, but I don't think he was really talking to me because he didn't respond to my voice, and he told me to stop crying when I was actually sort of calm. What else? Was he moving at all during this? I don't think so. He started screaming, and I told him to shut up, but he kept screaming and crying and asking for his mom, and then he finally stopped, and shortly after that, you contacted me again. Please get me out now. Okay, we're sending someone in. Don't panic if you hear or feel something behind you. Please hurry, my chest is... Shortly after this, D-8600 was sent down with the equipment noted above. 8600 was selected for his small stature and thin body shape in hopes he would be able to move more easily than 2445. The rope was used to tether was severed at the same moment that he vanished, and the GPS tracker could not be traced. The following audio was recorded after contact was established with 8600. D-8600, can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you, Doctor. What is your situation? We're not getting anything on the video feed. I'm in some sort of cave or tunnel, really small and dark. My headlamp stopped working as soon as I got in here. Are you able to move at all? I'm not sure I can get my arms up in front of me, but I can sort of wiggle my way forward. Wait, what is this? Hey, are you alright? 8600? I just bumped into someone's foot. They're not moving at all. Hey, are you okay down there? That could be 2445. Davies, try 2445's radio. I can hear his radio, I think. I can hear Davies' voice. D2445 isn't responding, and we're not picking up Davies' voice on your radio and through our end. Yeah, yes, Doctor, I can hear you. Voice slightly muffled but still audible through the radio. Davies, turn that off. I can hear him through 8600s. Hey man, I'm glad. I don't know. Some sort of very small tunnel. It's really cramped. Can you get me out now? 2445, listen to me. 8600 is behind you and is there to help get you out. Nah, it's too dark. I can't see anything and I'm stuck. Hey man, it's okay. We know you're stuck and we're both gonna get you out of here. Okay, so it looks like it's a time loop sort of thing. Whoever comes into the tunnel next, all they can hear is whatever the person before them was saying, and then they're just stuck in a loop. Okay, man, it's okay. I'm gonna try and get my arms up and I'll grab a hold of your ankles. That should be able to pull us out of here. No, I told you I can't say okay. I'm working on it. Have some... D8600, stop talking. Something isn't right here. D2445 is just repeating everything he said to me when we initially made radio contact with him. It's okay, just calm down, Doctor. I think he's just freaking out. I've almost got my arms in front of me. No, he's literally repeating his side of the conversation word for word. Did he actually move at all, just like he just said he did? I, I don't think so. Okay, this is getting kind of creepy, but I've got his ankles. See if you can pull us out now. Doctor, what is he talking about? Can you just pull us out of here now? We can't pull you out, I'm sorry. What the fuck are you talking about? Why can't you pull us out? What does he mean the shoe was so tiny? What the fuck is going on, Doctor? D8600, unfortunately the rope we tied to you was severed as soon as you vanished. We didn't realize that would happen. Fuck. Okay, I'll try and cheat my way backwards. I won't be able to bring him with me, though. Good luck, D8600. We'll stay in contact with you for the time being. This will be a lot easier if you would just shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up already, creepy asshole! Are you making progress, D8600? A little. It's not easy, but I'm getting there. The air's getting kind of stale in here. I hope there's enough air for me to make it back. Hey, did he finally shut up? I'm not hearing him on my end anymore either. Well, thank God for that. I was starting to think that... What is it? You were starting to think 8600? Are you still there? What happened? No further response from 8600 was recorded. Subsequent attempts to re-establish radio contact with 8600 and 2445 were unsuccessful. Testing has been suspended indefinitely. So it looks like the reason it's safe is because as long as you don't send anybody in there, it's not a problem. And as long as you don't use it going face down with your arms at your side, it's not a problem. So if you stay the hell away from it, or use it like a regular slide, you're golden. But if you go down it on your stomach with your hands at your side like a missile, you're screwed! Trapped in a time loop of death and destruction, and everybody behind you has to hear your last moments before they just... So yeah, don't go in the tunnel slide. Alright, let's check out property markers. They used to be safe, but they're not anymore. The special containment procedures. Specimens of 1563 are contained in a sealed vivarium at Biocontainment Site 84, built to emulate a temperate forest environment, and 10 Otocoileus virginianus white-tailed deer are to be released into the cell on a weekly basis. And it used to say any further specimens found in the wild are to be terminated, but now it says see Addendum 1. What is this? Access file serve containment. In light of Recovery Log 2, any specimens are to be handled with extreme caution and will be stored in the sealed vivarium at Biocontainment Site 84. This vivarium is separate from the original vivarium used to store the pink specimen of 1563. Any civilians involved with the capture of a new specimen are to be given Class C amnestics. Okay. SCP-1563 is a predatory organism resembling plastic property boundary markers commonly used in rural areas. Specimens of 1563 usually exhibit pink coloration, with orange and blue coloration being recently discovered, though more types of coloration are thought to exist. 1563 has very durable and sharp tooth-like structures measuring 1.5 millimeters covering the ventral side of its body. These teeth are used to puncture the skin of its prey. It exhibits behavior of ambush predators. That's a lot of extra files. Uh, attaching itself to trees and or other standing wooden structures. When a prey animal passes by, 1563 will detach and leap onto its target, then wrap around its prey's neck and strangle it to death before puncturing its neck using sharp teeth and feeding on its blood. 1563's preferred prey appears to be white-tailed deer, and as such poses minimal threat to humans unless provoked or malnourished. It is able to survive for at most 2 weeks without nourishment. SCP-1563 has two organs, a small capillary system which is presumably used to process and distribute the consumed blood throughout the body, and the aforementioned teeth, which are structured so that when blood is introduced onto the surface of the teeth, the blood will diffuse into a set of capillaries located immediately under the first layer of the teeth. The means of locomotion is unknown as no muscle tissues have been discovered. By extension, the means by which 1563 circulates blood is also unknown, if circulation occurs at all. SCP-1563 has an extremely durable cell structure composed of what appears to be a double cell wall. This double cell wall is literally two cell walls, one inner cell wall and one outer cell wall, both in addition to the cell membrane, which forms a tight bond with adjacent cells. It is hypothesized that this double cell wall is used to help 1563 stay together when attacking prey, so that they are not easily torn. It reproduces asexually. Specimen will split itself into two and hunt smaller prey such as rabbits until it grows to a sufficient size. At that point, it will resume hunting white-tailed deer. It will occasionally secrete a yellowish brown substance, presumably waste. The excretions halt approximately 1 to 2 hours after they begin. It should be noted that on touch there is no discernible difference between 1563 and a plastic property mark. It first came to the Foundation's attention following multiple reports of deer strangled using property markers somewhere in Virginia. The undercover Foundation agents investigating the incidents were able to identify the anomalous entity responsible, and a containment team was able to secure several specimens and transport them to temporary storage sites somewhere. Okay. Testing log 7.0. Test purpose: to discern whether or not a non-malnourished 1563 specimen has other food preferences. If so, these preferences are thought to be associated with fauna residing in Western North America. This is the last of such tests, as each prior test has resulted in no response from 1563. Involved personnel: 42 to 13 organisms involved, multiple specimens of 1563, and one American black bear. During this instance of testing, the following events occurred. On introducing the bear to the testing environment, the bear became enraged and began to attack D-4213, who was the personnel introducing the bear to the environment. 12 instances of 1563 leapt onto the bear and began collaboratively feeding off of it, with 2 instances having wrapped around the neck, 2 around the right front leg, 3 around the left front leg, 3 around the right back leg, and 2 around the back left leg. Bear entered hypovolemia and died 5 minutes after initial attachment. 12 instances involved attacked the bear unusually quickly, considering that they had been previously fed their usual diet. All 12 instances were observed to be more dormant over the next month, not requiring any nourishment and exceeding the usual lifespan of an unfed instance of 1563. After this, each specimen returned to normal activity. This was an unusually fast attack for specimens of 1563. This is a long shot, but the feeling I get is that they were preventing further harm from coming to 4213. Worth noting is that D-4213 was selected from a group of convicted criminals having committed a victimless crime as determined by the Ethics Committee. In the future, I would recommend testing how 1563 reacts in the same situation, but a D-class selected from a pool of criminals who have done worse. From my past research with other skips, I would suspect that specimens of 1563 have some kind of moral complex. Whether they know about the specifics of a wrongdoing committed, they may be able to sense the moral character of a sentient organism. Right? So the next test was 7.1. They're trying to determine if it displays an attitude towards humans, and they're using 02231 and also multiple specimens of 1563 and a Bengal tiger. They entered the testing environment as well as 6 of the specimens. 5 minutes later, a Bengal tiger was introduced to the testing environment. Prior to testing, the tiger was not given any nourishment for 2 days and then was agitated immediately preceding the test using various methods. Once the tiger was introduced to the testing environment, it immediately assumed a stalking posture. At this time, the 1563 specimens were attached to the trees in their vivarium. The specimens then began to detach themselves from the trees. The tiger pounced on the 02231, causing a massive laceration in his left arm. The specimens then dove off the trees and began to attack and feed on the tiger. The tiger then died approximately 4 minutes later due to hypovolemia similar to the bear. We know that the Bengal tiger is not native to the area in which we initially found 1563, and to date, we've not found any specimens in southern Asia. This is further evidence that they may be protective over humans, as the tiger should not hypothetically be in the diet of 1563. This D class was selected from a similar pool of convicted criminals as 4213. I still recommend testing the other D class of lower moral standing. Okay. Addendum 1. During a lab test to further study the anatomy, researcher Blank noticed the microscopic text on the dorsal side of 1563 specimen's body, which displayed the word pink equals protect. Testing is underway to view both the dorsal and ventral sides of each specimen currently contained. This text implies that there are 1563 specimens that exhibit a different color. A retrieval mission is underway to obtain new colors. This seems to confirm my suspicions, but the inclusion of pink on this label implies that there are other colors, perhaps with other properties. To date, we've only discovered pink specimens. I am immediately requesting further examination of 1563's initial recovery site, and then we will determine where to go from there. Okay, Addendum 2. A group of 7 specimens with orange coloration were discovered near area blank. On examination, each displayed text on the ventral side of the body stating orange restrict. All specimens were actively hostile to personnel not assigned to area blank. This resulted in severe injuries to researcher blank. It is currently unknown why these specimens were discovered in such close proximity to a high priority Foundation base. It's been months since we've had any new developments on this with this SCP, but here it is. I conjecture that this also confirms my previous suspicions that 1563 can anonymously sense things it should not otherwise have had any way of knowing. For instance, how would the orange specimens have known what personnel are assigned to area blank and what personnel aren't? They don't even have a nervous system in which to store such information. In the months following the discovery of the orange ones, a group of 4 blue specimens were discovered near California, an area known to be particularly dry. The text was discovered on the dorsal side displaying blue trench. During examination, no extraordinary features were discovered aside from the color and text. 4 days after examination of the specimen, a small non-destructive fire occurred on site. Approximately 5.5 seconds later, the area containing the fire was instantly extinguished, with a large amount of water was subsequently found around the area of the fire. No personnel were in this part of the site at the time to extinguish the fire. It is now assumed that specimens of blue coloration serve the purpose of preventing fires or to assist in situations with a high lack of moisture. Further testing is planned. It should be noted that both of these specimens have the same anatomy as the pink specimen, aside from the color and the effects accompanied by them. Right? Following multiple caving-related deaths in a cave near somewhere, and subsequent reports of plastic black ribbons closely associated with the deaths, researcher Hubei suspected that this was involved with a new instance of 1563. Following is a video log transcript of the subsequent investigation. So the team that's looking into it is Recovery Team 5-5. And the team members 1 and 2, and team lead is 9. Comms activated. Team confirm. 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 Communication confirmed. Right, ladies and gentlemen, this one's a safe, but we might be stepping into unknown ground here. Stay frosty. Flight command. 559, you're clear to deploy. Red loud and clear, let's go. Team enters with 559 taking the lead. 5-2's video feed shows a large amount of a yellowish brown substance around the top of the entrance of the cave. Look up. We know what these things are expelling waste. That's gotta be what that is. You're right. Keep an eye on the roof of the cave, but don't get too distracted. Skips can be clever bats. The team just continues further into the cave, which has maintained a mostly horizontal orientation until now. They've reached a steep vertical drop. That's a deep drop. Going in there? I have to. It would be poor taste to leave empty-handed. We've seen evidence of 1563, but no actual specimen yet. We have to at least leave knowing that something's in here, or not. Then they can bring in a larger team for recovery. 2, I want you to stay up here to secure myself and 1's descent. We'll need help getting back up, too. You should be fine. We haven't found anything in the cave up to this point. So if anything's in here, it's down there. Understood, team? Understood. Understood. Alright, 1, let's do it. 9 and 1 begin securing rappel equipment to the cave floor. Once the safety of this is checked, they begin. It's been a while since I've done this. You'll be fine. Just remember your training. Approximately 5 minutes after descent began, 1 and 9's video feeds were disconnected from Site Command's communications, but their audio remained connected to 2's local feed. Video feed is shown here, was recovered later. Jesus, how deep is this? It's a cave. Shouldn't go this far. Relax, we're almost there. 2 more minutes pass, and the floor of the drop is visible on both 9 and 1's video feed. Steady, 1, we're about to hit the bottom. 2, please make sure the ropes are secured for our ascent later. Let me know if our feed begins to drop. Will do. Be careful down there. Almost immediately following this, 2's video feed cut out, and Site Command lost contact with 1 and 9 as a result. Whoa, you hear that? Yeah. 2, do you copy? A loud thud can be heard from behind 1. We turned around to see 2 laying on the ground, presumably expired. 2 black 1563 specimens are visible around 2's neck, but this is apparently unnoticed by 1 and 9. Following this, 1's feet showed a long coil of rope fall down beside 2's body. Oh shit! How? What happened? Fuck. At least 1 rope for ascent. This is why they tell you not to get attached, 1. Sitecom, will someone send we'll send someone back in here eventually, but for now, we press on. We're not done in here yet. Keep steady and follow me. As they continue, an increasing amount of the yellow-brown substance is seen along the walls, but still no sign of 1563. We're getting close. Stay close to me, 1. Let me know if you see anything. They come upon an opening in the cave, inside which there is clearly a large amount of 1563 of many different colorations, including colors that have been previously undiscovered. Oh shit! It's like they're just collectively writhing around. Jesus, I've never seen anything like it. 1, I want you to help me examine these things. There's text on their undersides. Just try to get a close shot of both sides of every color specimen. Boys, the lab can look at this footage when they send a proper recovery team to get these things out. They both do this for specimens of the following colors: green, red, black, blue, pink, yellow, and purple. Note that the video feed shows a much higher concentration of black specimens than any other color. During this examination, 1 picks up what appears to be a notebook. He opens it to the first page and briefly examines it before putting the journal back and continuing the task at hand. 1 does not notify 9 of this. Alright, that should be good. From what I can tell, that covers all the colors. Let's go. On the trip back to the vertical drop, multiple orange specimens are seen around the cave. They begin to move towards 1 and 9. Shit, run! They easily outrun the specimens of 1563 and quickly thereafter reach the ascension rope. 1 turns around to see a few orange specimens still protruding them. This thing's only going to support 1 of us. Sorry, kid. No! That's an order from your team lead. You're to stay here to secure my ascent, then you can follow me once I give you the okay. 1 doesn't respond. 9 mounts the rope and begins his ascent while 1 watches, frequently glancing at the approaching orange 1563 specimens. Seconds pass and 1 looks at 2's body to see the black specimens detaching from 2's neck. 1 backs away from his body but stops when he sees that the black specimens have begun to rapidly ascend the rope. At this time, the orange specimens of 1563 stop moving towards 1 and begin to move back deeper into the cave from which they came. Oh, something you want to say, 1? No. A minute passes and 1 observes 9 climbing down the rope. There's a black specimen around his neck. Go on, you earned it. 9 motions towards the rope. What? That's an order. From your team lead. Leave. 9's speech pattern seems strained at this point. 1 obliges and begins to ascend. 1's video feed shows him glancing back down at upon 9 occasionally, only to see him sitting next to 2's body. The last clear view of the floor of the drop that 1's video feed obtained showed multiple red specimens approaching 9. 1 finished his ascent 15 minutes later and regained contact with Sitecom shortly thereafter. Video footage in the log was recovered from 1's video feed storage upon his return to Site Blank. The following is the only text visible in the journal opened by 1 in the recovery log. The world's got no moral character. These will fix that. Considering these events, I'm requesting that the object class be upgraded to Euclid. We don't know if this is the only source of these things. Approved. Object class is now Euclid. I am currently personally reviewing the containment procedures. Administrator Harding. Okay, so upon further examination of the specimens later recovered from the cave near Blank, each specimen had different microscopic text written on the dorsal side. These are the findings. Pink, protect. Red, purge. Black, control. Orange, restrict. Blue, wrench. Purple, ignite. Green, heal. So the orange ones were restrict and the orange ones were chasing them. But the black ones went after P9 because of him leaving P1 down there. But the black ones are also the ones that killed P2 or 5-2, whatever. So what's going on with that then? If these are meant to like do a thing with moral character, but the only ones they actually ended up coming across were the orange ones and the black ones. Why were the orange ones chasing them, and why did the black one decide to save 5-1? This was last updated in October of 2022, so we'll never know. Interesting, though. That brings us to the last one for this episode, post-Nabanic, whatever that is or means. Euclid Newman. What is Euclid Newman? Okay, so all instances of SCP-1564 are stored at Site-23 in 2.5 by 5 by 5 meter cells, lined with no less than 2 millimeters of low brass, with the exception of 2, which is stored at Medical Site-4 in an identical cell. Additional stipulations exist for each instance as follows. But the entry's not that long. 1 may only be interacted with by personnel with experience in a military or paramilitary organization, including at least 1 year of combat experience. 2 is stored adjacent to Ward 6 at Medical Site 4. Ward 6 contains all non-anomalous comatose patients in Foundation custody in Laos. Probably Lao. Should fewer than 6 comatose persons be present at Site 4, additional subjects may be transferred as necessary from Site 7. Personnel performing research on 3 are paid on the basis of original useful research they produce in relation to each other, as determined by Assistant Site Director Galuzzo, rather than by standard Foundation pay grade. Efforts must be made to ensure a competitive environment among researchers. Due to the relatively high burnout rate of 3 researchers, I recommend that alternative containment procedures be devised for 3. All research and experimentation on 4 is to be performed by individuals who are unaware of the identities of each other. Personnel assigned to 4 are prohibited from revealing their involvement, identification numbers, or real names to any personnel other than Dr. That and Assistant Site Director Galuzzo. Then Mugasundaram and Galuzzo may not have in-person contact with personnel assigned to 4 or with each other. All personnel assigned to contact with 5 are required to memorize the layout of Site-23. Personnel wishing to access 5 must be able to recite this layout verbally upon request. Should any errors be noted in this recitation, access is to be denied. No less than 3 mid-ranking members of the Church of the Broken God, tertiary, Nabanic, or higher, are to remain in meditation around 6. Each is to be provided with access to a database known as COTBG, religious texts, and given whatever sustenance is requested, provided that it does not exceed the budget or pose a risk of containment breach. Said members must undergo Procedure Sigma 2 once per month to ensure compliance with containment procedures without interfering with their faith. Any unauthorized personnel or non-personnel who have viewed an instance of 1564 or an image of an instance of 1564 must be administered a Class C amnestic. Should any reliable means of blocking or negating telepathic communications be developed, testing with 1564 is recommended. Okay. Description. SCP-1564 is a collection of 6 ovoid objects 1.4 meters in length with a mass of 216 kilograms each, designated 1 through 6. They appear to be constructed primarily of brass and beryllium bronze, with small amounts of gold present. Attempts to breach the surface of an instance of 1564 have invariably failed due to equipment malfunction. However, non-invasive scans have shown that instances of 1564 are hollow and contain extremely intricate assemblies of clockwork components. These assemblies are unique to each instance and appear to be in constant, non-repetitive motion despite the lack of any apparent internal or external power source. While this motion produces noise typical for motions of this type, instances of 1564 do not produce heat. Instances of 1564 contain unique engraved patterns across their entire surfaces and are visually distinguishable only by these engravings. The content of the engravings are as follows. On 1, 213 images of humans engaged in armed and unarmed combat with other humans, animals, mythical figures, including allusions to several figures unique to the Church of the Broken God mythology, and fractal shapes. Several humanoids are depicted as consistent with depictions of the Daevite civilization, typically appearing in leadership positions. On 2 are 161 images of humans performing acts of charity and worship towards other humans, mythical figures, and places of worship. Several illustrations show the placement of mechanical objects and construction of shrines at culturally significant places, with gifts being given to passerby. 4 illustrations separated from each other by double lines. 12 humans placing items resembling SCP-271, 882, something else, and 1139 in boxes. The images are not to scale. 8 humans surrounding a bonfire containing 4 items of apparently mechanical nature. 2 have been positively identified as items of significance from relevant Church of Broken God texts. One as the feet which carry the chosen across the heathen lands, and the other as a reminder to those who would live in sin of both nature of kindness and of wrath. The objects are presumed destroyed. A single human carrying several small indistinct objects leading a procession of humans out of a building believed to be a church of smaller or similar place of worship. Those closest to the leading figure are younger than those near the back of the procession. And 4 humans with smoke or fog emitting from their mouths while their faces peel back. The emitted matter combines to form an indistinct 5th humanoid figure. On the 4th one are 4 illustrations separated by double lines. The first one is a series of caves from which a procession of identical humans emerge, each bowing to a figure dressed in garb consistent with a high priest of the Church of the Broken God. The second one is a serpentine figure which branches off into 97 heads, each inscribed with a glyph similar to those located on 271. The image does not exhibit the anomalous properties of 271. Third picture is a group of 14 humanoid figures depicted in a variety of stylized forms, climbing in a pile of mechanical objects, and the last one is a book, possibly SCP-140, out of which a variety of human limbs and artificial structures appear to be growing. Structures bear similarities to both medieval Indian and Daevite architecture. The 5th one has a single nondescript human transitioning over the course of 11 illustrations from a human to a human composed partially of mechanical components to a humanoid composed entirely of mechanical components to a featureless ovoid figure. Several smaller illustrations show a human transitioning into an enlarged and apparently aggressive amorphous organism, a human emitting smoke from its mouth before collapsing, and a human rapidly developing into a fractal similar to the ones depicted in 1. And on 6, the entire surface is covered with fractal shapes. An estimated 2,100 meters of etchings have been engraved into 6's surface. The patterns demonstrate familiarity with mathematical concepts that is incongruous with the date of 6's recovery. Whenever containment procedures for an instance of 1564 are not followed, any individual who is in visual contact with or who can remember the appearance of any instance of 4 may establish telepathic contact with a group of 6 entities at will. 3 says, containment procedures were devised based on Church of Broken God documents, information provided by their adherents, and the circumstances of recovery for each. 4 says, hereby referred to as subjects. And the entities says, subject testimony and documents indicate that these entities will inhabit 1 through 6. This information is impossible to confirm. Entities are collectively referred to as SCP-1564-7. While contact with 7 may cause exhaustion and headache, subjects have not been shown to experience long-term mental or physical harm or alteration. No less than blank thousand subjects currently exist outside of Foundation custody or employ, most of whom are believed to be members of the Church of the Broken God. Experiment Log 4. Subject 1 was 18 was chosen due to her prior occupational experience in speech transcription to provide a transcript of an encounter with 7. She was instructed to transcribe the communications of each entity using a different color of ink. Okay. Test. We are speaking with 1. Stop wasting time. Daughter of the Forge, your strength heralds the defeat of the heretics. Rise from the ashes of defeat and prove your valor. My bride, the path ahead is arduous, but as you lose your place in the maze, you will find yourself. Good grief, these 5 with their speeches, just let them get out of their system. The value of your companionship exceeds that of my peers. Interlock with your allies to form the gears in the machine of success. Calm yourself, sister. Allow the blows to shape you into your ideal form. Where, mother? For you, and indeed us, are surrounded by foes. Remain ready, coiled, and prepared to unleash your inner talent at a moment's notice. I think that should be a we. Well, I only know English grammar as well as she does. You know this. And you're hardly one to talk about poor writing. Your prose is pretty and excessively purple. Funny, I would have expected that comment to be directed at myself. I wish I could say that I expected more from one as conflict-obsessed as you, but ultimately I really can't. And shut up! You haven't been funny in ages. Basically all the same nowadays. What's the point in talking about differences? You might all be the same. If you're all done being childish, could I actually say something that might be of help to her? I'd like to Note that I do my best to remain succinct. Noted. Now be quiet. Okay, so this is obviously very stressful on you, so I'm going to cut to the chase. As you can gather from my company's enthusiastically grandiose greetings, you're a bit more special than question mark picked you out for. Don't worry, it's not anything bad. You have lots of potential, and I can see that you're at least a bit interested. Listen carefully to this next. Always a go-getter. I remember the last time we did this. It was me that time, remember? They were in quite the pickle. I showed them. We all remember. Now shut up so she can concentrate. You can start writing now. We can't have them martyring you just yet. Just be sure to give them something. One thing you should know that wasn't just covered. SCP Foundation types would put you in chains if you so much as sneezed special. But now that you've heard all of that, it's not going to be fun from here out. Your teeth and your faith are your strongest weapons. Both will come in time. Get to know the gods. An amiable personality, so it shouldn't be much. You shouldn't have trouble. It could be important later. Blank blank. The preceding numbers include activation codes for doors in the area of Site 23 where Subject 18 was kept. Left guards on both sides. As much as it saddens me to say this, reconciliation will be difficult and unpleasant, but the future requires that you show your goodwill towards all. Now, I guarantee you'll get through this just like all the others have. You're almost certainly the last and our best bet. It will be worth it. Think of it this way. Not many people can say they get to be prophets, can they? All further information regarding 18 is accessible via SCP GOC Joint File 4881, which is not here, so I guess we'll never know. And this was last edited this past January. They actually touched this one. What do you mean, Dr. Wondertainment? Why is Dr. Wondertainment here? Archaeological, Are We Cool Yet? Broken God, Clockwork, Daylight, Dr. Wondertainment, Fifthist, Global Occult Coalition, Serpent's Hand. Why are all of those mentioned? Is that what these all are supposed to be? There's no other mention of any of those people in here. What are you talking about? Why are all of those tagged here? There's not like a tail or anything. Where do you... Maybe these other SCPs are those. Hang on. Where do you... Well, that's Keter. And what are you? That's Euclid. And what are you? That's also Euclid. It's all Church of the Broken God stuff. And what are you? That's also Keter, and it's the Chronicles of the Devas. None of these factions were mentioned in here at all. Why? Unless this is supposed to be those factions all talking to her in her head somehow. Why are any of y'all... No, I don't know. That's going to do it for this episode, though. In the next one, we're going to be checking out Martian Turtles, Free Hugs, the Dun or Dune, Galen, the Kingston, the Crab, and Jumbo Shrimp. Is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Yeah, that's what we're going to be checking out. So if you liked it, a like and a subscribe would be groovy. If you want to click the bell, you can do that as well, so that you're notified of future uploads. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Later.